Hey guys, I'm Kai Tsehay. I'm a photographer and a producer, originally from Washington, D.C. The way Washington, D.C. has influenced my work is by my love for nostalgic things, and specifically in D.C. growing up, I felt like it was like a neo-soul era. And so I try to incorporate that in my photography work, specifically events, by capturing memories that that we will always have, and as well as my editing style, giving that warmth type of brown, dark greens, and sometimes bright aesthetic, which reminds me of growing up as a jit in Washington, D.C. So the way I would describe my photography style is black joy, very close up, and multiple perspectives. So why my style is like black joy is because I've made it a mission to capture black people having fun, which I think I show very well in my event work. Second, I would say very close up. I like to get shots that are in people's face, seeing like what they're doing, kind of in a distorted way, not all the way, but a little bit. And then last, I would say, is perspective. I always aim to get multiple perspectives, especially when I'm shooting events. Like I want to show the person who's in the center. I want to show the person getting drinks on the side. I want to show the person who's dancing on the side, someone who's crying, who's happy, all of that. So yeah. Some of my influences start at home with my family and friends, specifically with my friends, because I have some dope, amazing photo friends, so they're always inspiring me to do better or look at my work from a different perspective. If we're speaking about some photographers that I'm inspired by, is by Alex Webb, Gordon Parks, Jamel Shabazz, and one more, Chimo Du. That's my guy. The world inspires me. The people who I'm taking pictures at events and parties, they inspire me. So the story behind how I got into photography, I would first say it always started when I was young. I was always in visual arts. My mother was a visual artist. But where it officially started is when I moved to Florida around the age of like 15. And I was just so inspired by the colors of like Florida homes and the sunlight and my beautiful friends. And I just started shooting them and started shooting my rapper friends, and I took it to college with me, and the rest was history. And then also I would say like the Tumblr era, had to shout out the Tumblr era because that's when we all got cameras. So the way I got my first camera, shout out to my mom. She bought me a Nikon, one of the DSLRs like D300, D3200 for Christmas with me and my cousin. It was a great Christmas because we got that camera, and yeah, I was Nikon gang at one point. So the first time I got paid for my work, I believe I had shot like graduation photos for a friend or some modeling shots. I think at the time I was like charging like $50 to $80, but this was in high school. So the way my process and style of photography has evolved since when I first started, I definitely have better quality. The shots are sharper. Also, my focus has switched. I used to be heavy studio photographer. Heavy studio photographer and music industry was my main focus, but now my big focus is events, live events, and I guess still the music industry. But yeah, my biggest shift with my work has been the shift of photography genres. So how I get into the mindset to produce my best work is I make sure I'm organized. Second, I see myself as the only competition. And last, I just go about it about having like a fun time and knowing that I'm capturing dope ass memories for the years to come. So the story behind my favorite picture that I ever took was during Afropunk 2021 ATL. I took a picture of this couple who both had like kind of like curly fros, and they were kissing. And they were like dancing, and they were just in the moment, and I love that photo. Like, I love capturing love. And especially during that time, I had just found my new aesthetic of editing and shooting. So that is one of my favorite photos. Shout out to them. The ideal place where I would want my photos to end up in the long run is first in people's homes. Like, I want my photos to be photos that you get to look back on 50 years from now, 40 years from now. Second, I would love my work to be in some galleries, maybe a museum showing the nightlife of specifically, I guess, New York during this era. And then last, I want my photos to end up on whatever social media platform there is, like 40 years from now, floating around as like, you know how we float around like 90s and early 2000s photos on the internet and we repost? Like, I want my shots to be that. Like, I want people to be able to look back and be like, oh, this photo's dope. I want to post it on my page as like as a vintage thing or whatever. My favorite part of the process is capturing people. And the last favorite part of the process is giving people the actual photos. Like, I love when the product is done and finished and I'm like, here's the photo, and you get to see people's reactions and seeing how they want to present your work and their opinions and all of that. So yeah. The best shoot day that I had where I felt everything went right for me was last year going on tour for 2 weeks. It was the most fulfilled I ever felt in my career, in a sense of I've been doing music industry photography for a minute and I just had never gone on tour, and I felt like to finalize that chapter in my life, I just needed one good tour to go on to, I guess for me, internally establish that I shot music. So I had a great experience on tour. I made some lifelong friends and I felt fulfilled. Like, I felt like I knew what I was doing. I didn't question myself. Even when there was hiccups, I was good. So my photography bucket list isn't that long, but I do have 3 main things that I do want to do. So my first on my bucket list is to travel more with photography. I want to go to more countries because of my camera, and as well as I want to travel to different states and countries to capture, you know, party scenes. So invite me to your parties, y'all. And then second, I want to go on like tour again. And if I had to go on tour again, I would want to go on tour like with like a neo soul artist, like from back in the day, like one of the Soul Aquarians or something like Maxwell or Jill Scott. Like, I would love to do that. And then my third bucket list is to get my first 5-figure gig this year. I want multiple 5-figure gigs, but to get my first one, I've gotten close, but I definitely want that to happen, so manifesting. Between film and digital, I actually prefer digital. I love film, but I feel like digital, you can do some of the same things, and you have, not to say you can't do a lot with film, you can do a lot of things with film, but I do think digital, like, you can get more shots out of it, you can edit in the style of film. You know, I feel like when it comes to like Photoshop and things like that, you're able to do more. But I do love film down, like some film portrait shots are some of my favorite things. Most of my favorite photographers who I look at on the gram are film photographers. So, but yeah, I'm a digital girly. Like, I love when I get to bring out my digital camera. The way I feel about gatekeeping cameras and gear and equipment is fuck that shit. If you're a good photographer, somebody copying what gear you have and your camera is not gonna matter. It's about your eye and how you shoot on that camera. So yeah, we need to stop the gatekeeping on all aspects. Like, let's help each other up. Like, as we grow as a community, as a photo community, if we can grow together, teamwork, that means more money in our pockets. So brands are people I would want to work with. I don't really think about it much, which I need to start doing, but I would love to work or have like a partnership, sponsorship with one of like the big camera brands like Canon or Fuji, Sony, Nikon, whatever. Second, I would love to work with like a big publication that does like photojournalism across the world. Like I would love to travel and take pictures showing what is going on around the world. And then last, I would like to work with like more streetwear brands and some of my favorite artists from the early 2000s or the 90s. How social media affects my work is honestly, it is a positive for me. I'm able to showcase my work on social media, and as well as I get a lot of my clients. A lot of my clients find me through social media. So I am pro social media when it comes for your creatives and artists. Like it's really a way to get out your work and find like specific community who genuinely like what you shoot. So what drives and motivates me as a photographer is history. And when I talk about history, I specifically talk about Black history across the Afro diaspora. By capturing Black people and our lives, it creates history for the next to come. Like a lot of us, due to what had happened, are not afforded to see photos of our ancestors, or we're able to even take photos of them. And I'm just so happy that I'm able to capture photos of my community, and that this hopefully in the long run will be something that the next generation can look at to see what was going on for inspiration, and just to see like, you know, straight on Black excellence. What I like the most about photography is being able to capture what I see and create it into a tangible digital product or a tangible physical thing. Like I think photography is so magical and spiritual in that sense that I'm afforded to be able to have the opportunity to do that and also see the vision of how an image should be shot or shaped. So what I would like to see change in the photography industry, and I guess specifically is my niche, is seeing more Black women photographers in event spaces, nightlife, and as well as concerts and festivals. Like I know we're out there, but I just want to see even more of us embrace that. One of the proudest moments of my career was being able to shoot the 2023 draft with the NBA. I just could not believe I was shooting that, and I was shooting with some amazing photographers and also capturing these young men's lives change in seconds. Like it was amazing seeing their families and them and capturing that. So what I'm currently working on right now is building my photo producing and commissioning platform with the production company I'm part of called Unfiltered, and as well as a platform I just started called The Lightbox with 2 X's, where we basically highlight event photographers, live event photographers, nightlife, and music and BTS photographers. I wanted to start a platform where you could collectively find our work, and also highlighting the event photographers where their work isn't, you know, in a traditional sense of event photography. So definitely check us out at thelightbox.photo. So my biggest piece of advice for photographers, I have 2, is first, really understanding your copyright and licensing. To this day, I'm still trying to understand that. I think it's important for photographers to be able to keep the rights to their work. Second, networking. I'm really big. I feel like your network is your net worth. And not always networking in just a traditional sense, like actually creating community and friends. And then lastly, my biggest piece of advice is not fearing rejection. The worst thing someone can tell you is no. And not fearing rejection means having confidence and building up people around you. Lastly, who I want to thank and give a big shout out to for my career in photography is God and my ancestors, my family, friends, siblings, and all my mentors who have helped me through the way. Like, thank you all so much. Hey, it's Kai Tsehay, and this is Underexposed.